Hey peeps, welcome to another video. Today it's going to be another in my mini tutorial series, and as you can probably tell by the title, I'm going to be showing you how I insert a stretch neckband into a stretch garment. I have done this previously and there are instructions for this on my channel already, and you can find the entire sew along up here, and that's actually for this dress pattern. But I have made it again because I love the pattern, and I wanted to film the individual technique of putting in this neckband. So let's get started. Okay, I've been getting loads of requests for showing how to put in a stretch neckband to a stretch dress, t-shirt, jumper, all of the above. So first of all, I have my neckband piece here, and this should work for any neckband pattern that you, or any stretch pattern with a neckband that you have. So what I'm going to do is press this in half whilst it's still flat, because it's just much easier to do. Okay, so I'm going to take this to my serger or sewing machine, whichever you're using, and sew this together so that it forms a loop. And you want to make sure that it's a straight loop with no twists or turns, so that, yeah, again, ask me how I know, so I'm going to go do that. So when you sew this together, you want to open it out and sew the short end together at the seam allowance for the pattern. And again, you want to make sure that it's all nice and flat with no twists in it, because you don't want a twisty neckband. That's impossible for you to put into your garment. So I've sewn that together, and now we're going to quarter it. So you want to fold along the crease line that you've just pressed in and find the opposite edge to the seam line and pin that. And then you want the pin that you've just put in to match up with the seam that you've just sewn, and that will give you your quarters. So mark those with pins, and then we're going to do the same for the neckline that we're installing this into. So I've got my dress here, and I have got a pin in the back, and a red pin in the back, or an orange pin in the back, and a green pin in the front. So we need to find the center of the back. So I've got the shoulder seams together, and I'm going to put a pin in here. I can take this out now. And then with the shoulder seams together for the second time, I'm going to find the center of the front and put a pin in here. And now the trick is, your shoulder seams are not your other quarter points, because your front neckline is longer than your back neckline. So what you want to do is match up the centre front and the centre back of your dress, which you've just found, and then you will find your quarter points for your sides, which usually is towards the front of the dress, because that is the longer neckline, and that's the shoulder seam there, and then that's our quarter point there. So it's a good sort of 2 inches away. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay. So now we need to match up our neckband markings to all of the markings that we have just put on our dress. So with the neckband folded in half, you want to match that up to the center point, the back of the neckband, which is the seam of the neckband, to the back center of the dress bodice, which you've marked. And we're going to pin that, and I've got the right side of the dress, and the neckband is on the right side, it's touching the right side of the fabric. So next I am going to match up, and again, you don't want to get this twisted, my center front with the pin that we have put in to mark this quarter of the neckband. Okay, and then we're going to match up the sides of our neckband with the quarter points that we'd marked on our dress. And again, making sure that nothing is twisted and that we have the right side of the dress being attached to the neckband. So match all those points up. The next thing I like to do is, so we've ended up with, this is our neckband with the right side of our dress, and we've got quite a lot of excess dress to the neckband. So I like to stretch my neckband out. This is tricky to do. Stretch my neckband out till everything kind of lines up, and then put another pin in at roughly the center of each of those original pins. So we're going to end up with 8 pins all together in our neckband. So again, we've got the dress here, got the neckband here, and you're lining up the raw edge of the neckband with the raw edge of the dress. So again, the dress is there's much more fabric in the dress than there is in the neckband, and this is what we want because the neckband is going to help this sit snug to the body. So what I like to do is with my little these 2 fingers, I kind of grab hold of where the pins are so that I end up with all these fingers free, and I pull on the dress to get it to match up to the neckband, and then pin in that center bit so that we end up with excess dress and another pin in there. So this is the last one that we need to do. Untwist everything. So again, excess dress, straight neckband, grabbing each of the pinned areas, pulling that taut, matching up all of the raw edges, and kind of guesstimating where the center is between those original 2 pins and pinning in again. So that now that our neckband is all pinned in, we can sew. I'm going to sew on my overlocker, and with this one I have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So to start, I'm going to start just about 1 inch in front of the back seam of the neckband, and I'm going to line up the raw edges, put a little bit of tautness on the dress fabric, and kind of start sewing at an angle to get this under the overlocker presser foot. We don't want to sew over our pins, so be careful about that. Get all the threads out of the way. Okay, so now that we've kind of got it secured, what I like to do is behind this next pin, I take hold of the neckband only, leaving the dress free. So I've got the neckband here, and I pull the neckband taut, and the dress fabric has not got any tension on it, and then I line up the raw edges and sew. And you want to go slowly, and you want to sew up to that pin, put some pressure on it, take the pin out, and then we start again. So we're coming around here, move the dress around a little bit. So I'm taking hold behind the next pin, I'm taking hold of the neckband only, so the dress is free. I'm going to put some tension on the neckband. Now I've got a shoulder seam to worry about here, which I want the shoulder seam to be facing back. So when we get to that, I shall be a little bit careful. But so there's tension on the neckband, there's no tension on the dress, and so I'm going to just make sure my seam is lying the way I want it to be. Again, we'll sew up to near to the pin, take the pin out. I've got pressure on this finger, and there we go, and repeat again. So we've got behind the next pin, take hold of the neckband only, there's the dress, pull that so that the neckband is flush with the raw edge of the dress. Put some pressure on it so that we can get a little bit closer, and neckband, readjust. And that's literally how I've been sewing in neckbands since I started working with knits, which is probably about 2.5 years ago. And I've only had one go wrong, and that was the very first one that I did. And I didn't, what I did with that one is that I didn't quite catch the underneath layer, this layer, so I ended up with a tiny little hole. So when you pull this and give some tautness to your neckband, you want to be very careful that all of your raw edges along there are lining up. Okay, and again, so tautness on just the neckband, dress is free, all the raw edges are nicely aligned. And repeat this process the entire way around your neckband. Okay, once you come to your final piece, you're obviously not going to be able to get between the neckband and the dress. So in that case, I just pull on everything. And again, this is putting tautness on the dress fabric that you've made here, but not this dress fabric that's getting sewn to the neckband. And we want to cross over our original overlocking and kind of come off at an angle, and then we're going to bury those threads into the seam. So I've given myself a nice long tail there, which I'm going to pull on and chop off the excess. And I'm going to thread that onto a needle. I've got a nice big eye on this needle. And then just take that needle and bury it in between the layers of fabric and kind of go back on the stitching a couple of inches, because we're going to be top stitching this neckline down. So you're going to secure the thread again that way, but this is just, I mean, all the craftsy classes and all the classes that I saw about overlocking, they taught you how to do it, but they never mentioned how to kind of finish it off. So I know there's loads of different methods, but this is just the one that I use. So once we've done all that, you want to just double check that you haven't missed any little bits on your neckband, but I don't think I have. And we're going to give that a press, and then we're going to top stitch that down, which will make the neckband sit in the way that you want it to. But that's the method that I've been using for 2.5 years, and it's always worked for me except for that very first time. So just take your time, be nice and slow with it, and yeah, perfect neckbands every time, except one. So if you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will do my best to answer them for you. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!